Well, good afternoon as we're sitting here at LTV on this beautiful afternoon of Friday, March 29th, year 2024, here with the Hello Hello Show. And my name is Haim Mizrahi, continuing with the tradition of public access and the tradition of the Hello Hello Show that's been on the air since 1980. I just wanted to test something. Let's see. Is this, maybe I just need 1 minute here, 1 second. So we got the help by Jody here who's gonna take care of us. So this is this, and this is playing now.
Just this one, maybe?
It's connected, and let's make sure that it's actually playing, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe if we go.
You think the connection here or something?
I don't know.
I mean, it kind of makes it stop, so it's good.
It should be worse. Should be at least two. Oh, it's so weird.
Anyway, I can hold it also against the mic if it doesn't work. Oh. So that's this one. Got it. Okay. Yes. Very good. Hey, thank you. Okay. So yeah, thank you to Jody for performing miracles here, because I want to have Steve Rum coming up with us to discuss the state of mind of the weary. So let's see what's what. Maybe I should just call the guy and see what's what. Okay, how about that? Okay. So yeah, the Steve Ram is a mentor, and
what happened to your show?
Well, here I say something.
Yeah, what happened to your show? LTV is on, but it's not you.
Oh, wait 1 second.
Oh,
got it. Okay. What'd you say?
There are three women on LTV.
Hold on 1 second.
Definitely not you.
Okay, now you're good. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay. Yeah, you got it. Are you there?
So, yeah, I'm here. Are you doing the show?
So, no, this is not live now. That's what it is.
I know that. That's recording.
I know. Okay, so yeah, it's interesting to see that people have so many conditions that they have to go through, and the ordeals of dealing with one's temporary physical body on planet Earth. And there's a lot of back and forth with the elements, where we find ourselves struggling for the most part. But
I spoke to a guy I haven't spoken to in a couple of years who called me last week, and out of the blue, it's a guy I used to have coffee with. I told you about it.
Yeah.
And he's been in and out of the city, going to doctors, passes out, can't drive anymore. His license was pulled, and they have no idea what's wrong with him.
Yeah, well, in more ways than one, we have it's our fair share to pay, and
I know.
and to give, but we try and give thanks while you're actually going through the some kind of torture scenario. But I want to talk about art. How do you remember when the days where we used to say and believe that art heals?
Yep.
Uh,
And I still believe that.
yeah, I still believe that too. But then but we don't live it as much as we used to in the past. Do you think it's because it was that many less years of experience, that many less years of uh,
I also
direct
think that,
engagements?
yeah, I also think that there was an energy that we all had, which just just the fact of getting older
Tell the
diminishes that
audience
amount
how
of
many hours
energy.
you used to the style of the sessions that you used to have in the studio for. Give us a
I
small,
would start painting early in the morning, and I'd work
and
right
that's
through
like
the
what,
day and the night.
50, 60 years ago, correct?
No, no, 10 years ago, 12 years ago,
No, I
um,
want to know about the 70s.
the '70s. Well, want to know something interesting? I was just on my phone and I looked. I found one of my paintings, which is just one of my beautiful primitive paintings, was sold at Christie's
Oh, really?
auction house in the city. Yeah, and I have to call them Monday and find out. I want to find out. The minimum bid was
Yeah,
$12,500,
but then
and
you shouldn't look for information because then you're going to find out it was given away for free.
well, one of two things can happen. It could have been sold for $2,000, or it could have been sold for $50,000. Really a beautiful painting. I know who I sold it to. That's the interesting thing.
Yes.
But I want to find out if there's
That means
any
he gives
interest
you a
in
lot
the
of
art.
credit, no?
It's really nice to be listed as having
Yeah.
sold the painting at Christie's. Now I'd like to find out if I can get back in and sell some other paintings at
My
Christie's.
paintings were also sold in this gallery, famous gallery in Japan. Is called So to Be.
Soon to be or sung to be.
You know, they're talking to Sotheby, but their name is So to Be. So
Oh, it's the Mushu Gaipan Gallery.
Mushu Gugai Pan, yeah, Mushu
Right.
Pork. Um,
Get artwork and spiced rice.
but isn't that a great name for a gallery? So to Be.
So to be. I think that's a good name. Hey, I have to tell you, when I went past the White Gallery, the White Room, whatever she calls her gallery, it's really kind of out of the
The
way, and
train
I never see
station.
it
Well,
open.
that's a train
Yeah,
station. Yeah.
I never see it open.
Why are you
So
concerned by
I don't.
it?
No, because Lenore was friends with her, and I know she moved out of Bridgehampton to that location, and I saw her, opening stuff and the artwork that she had, which looked really nice. And when I go through East Hampton and go to Stop and Shop or something like that, I always go past that area, and I never see the gallery open. So I don't know what she's doing or how it's going, but I hope she does well. Um, Andy is a good person, and it's just the art market's just tough, as we all know. So it's not the only market that's tough these days. But yeah, I think going back to your sense of how much energy you have.
Why don't you
Um,
talk about something positive for God's sake?
well, it is positive.
Well,
I mean,
the days where time was flying even more so when we were engaged in front of our medium, uh, are not that much different today. With all the changes, with all the progress and technological accumulation of knowledge and how it supposedly makes our lives easier. The other day, I was sitting here and talking about that if Jackson Pollock was to be alive and come to my studio, not to see the artwork, just to see how much paint I have.
right.
I forget about
Oh,
the
look, he's
artwork.
got lots of gallons of paint.
Yeah, but these in his days in the late 40s. To buy certain gallons was between $70 to $100 then.
Right.
Then, if at all it was available. And
Right.
nowadays, I have more than any artist in the entire world can imagine or wish to have. It's just like so much stuff available just there, just as simple as that.
Right.
So
Right.
just imagine how they had to struggle in order to get the right brushes or the brushes or brushes period. forget.
Right.
And technology was exactly zero in their faces. Nothing was happening exactly. It's, take this paint if you're fortunate enough to have the money to buy it, and go do your thing.
Right.
Um, so for them to prevail as much as they did in the face of these limitations, for being broke, struggling, the environment, just think of the world then, like 60, 70, 80 years ago. You get
Right.
sick from little things, you can die from simple things just
Right.
because of the so and we need to reveal, we need to find this out, and we need to use it to work for us. We need to take it and to make things easier for us, and not because we are lazy and because we don't want to work. It's because we think we're within our right to be handed some enlightenment by way of kind of telling you also that the option is also that you can just kind of lay back a little bit and relax. They won't jeopardize your goal, your plan, you know what I mean? Your journey is not going to be spoiled by it.
Right.
So
Right.
I think about it, and when I think about de Kooning and Jackson Pollocks and the likes of them, then in a certain neighborhood, in a certain under the same roof, what they did, how much they achieved, and all this, I think that I'm not even close to being as powerful as they were, but I stand even with them, and I have an advantage over them just by the fact that I can decide to paint a painting anytime, 100 times a day if I wanted, and I won't be
Right.
missing anything. I'll have everything I need.
Right. Right.
So, so you, on top of it, and which I want you to talk a little bit about it, went and used the most non-orthodox way to create your own pigments, to work about kind of dust and oils and liquids and mixing and patience and hundreds and hundreds, requiring hundreds of layers. There was no counting the layers because it was just too many layers.
Right.
So
I never
tell me
kept a
about that
record.
zone of comfort that really led you to believe that
Well,
this
it's
is
always
actually a
been
viable way to go,
there's
a
always
direction to
been
go.
the same experience is that once you start, when you physically get into your studio, once you get everything set up and you start painting, time ceases. There is no time. There is no sense of light out, dark out, or whatever it is. You become totally involved with the work that you're doing, and that encompasses your world at that particular time, and nothing else interacts with that. You're just doing something. You know the feeling. Anybody that's a real artist knows that feeling. Phone rings, you don't hear it. Hungry, don't bother. You're involved totally with what you're in the process of creating. And that's always been for me, and I think for other people, an incredible experience that is very rare for people to have. I mean, you come out of it, you don't come out exhausted, you come out with a sense of not only accomplishment, but um, exhilaration. I mean, it's amazing to see. When I looked at the painting that was sold at Christie's, I looked at it. I said, "Wow, that is an amazing painting." I don't even remember painting it, but it's really, really good. And it's like when I paint, I don't know how you feel. When I'm done with a painting and I walk away from it, it's no longer mine. I can't even relate
I
to
don't know. I
doing it.
don't. I don't. You will never hear me say this sentence you just said. Yeah, you send it forth for the world to handle it, but uh, I don't have any particular thoughts about it. I don't
I just look
necessarily.
at it as if, yeah, I look at it the same way anybody else would look at it. I have nothing to do with it. I mean, there's a process of creating it, which obviously I'm involved in because I'm creating it. But on the other hand, when it's done, it's like
Yeah, but when it's done,
it's
the
separate from
process
me.
just begins for you there, because just imagine it's lifetime of influencing the people who owns it or choose to have it in their homes, or it makes a difference, and it makes people feel and change their feels and their thoughts and whatever, and influences them in many, many ways every day. So when you submit it and someone decides, hey, I actually like it enough to say, I'll give you the money you ask for it so I can own it. So this is an interaction with your work will be. I remember. I don't know if you remember Billy from the artist dinner. He lived to be like 98. Bill, remember
I
him
think
from
so.
from
I think
Sagaponack?
so. Think so.
He was with and he used to say to me, this was early on. I was like only in my fifth or sixth year of being actually an artist per se, standing in front of a canvas painting paintings. And he says, just wanted you to know that the piece you gave me, which was a 6 by 6 inches on a small pedestal or something, he said, I just wanted you to know that when I wake up in the morning, every morning, the first thing I see when I open my eyes is that beautiful square painting of yours staring me in the eyes every morning. So, this is every morning. This is
Right.
365 times a year, if not more. But anyway, the extent of that interaction, I don't know. I'm sure it bounces back to us. We don't even know that it does. Once it kind of hits, and the interaction is ongoingly by those who, because that person can also decide to sell it, and it's going to end up somewhere else in other people's lives.
Right.
But I think that very few of us think that we can create this way, meaning that we create having these lives in mind, that it will own it in the future, and
See,
paint in a way that it will, speak to them in such a way
I've
that,
never thought about where the paintings go to when I used to sell my stuff through these on tops. I never knew the people who bought the paintings, and I never knew what. Obviously, they liked the painting, otherwise they wouldn't have bought it. And I have no idea. It would have been interesting to be able to follow up a year or two later and see how they still felt about the painting. Uh, Very rarely did I know anybody that had bought work that I ran into years later. I have a few people that I've given a painting to under special circumstances or something like that. And I'm always surprised to find out that it's either hanging over their fireplace or in their living room or it's a major part of the house, which is kind of nice to find out. But to find the one on Christie's, I know there were only two people that I would have sold it to. I know both people, and I just don't remember who I sold it to, but it's got to be one of the two people. And it's just, um, it's, it was really nice to see that it had been on Christie's. It was nice to see that it was sold. I understand the circumstances that either one of the two people would have had, where they would have had to sell it. Um, and it's kind of nice to see. So, I rarely get to see anything that I've sold in the past. It never shows up again, and I think the process of creating is always there, no matter what. It may slow down. I have problems getting into the studio, which frustrates me to no end. But the desire to paint and the need to paint never changes. It's not like I'm going to say one day, well, I'm not going to do this anymore. I just don't see that happening.
maybe I should, what I should do? Mm, I should add someone. Wait 1 second. Uh, um, no, we didn't add. Okay, that's good. 1 second. I'm gonna add my friend here. Uh, hello, hello. This is like that. Okay, okay. Are you there? Just a second. Okay, so just a little pause here. Okay. Okay. Uh, okay, that's good. Okay.
I,
Yeah, you there?
yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
I was
so
going to say,
I
do
wanted
you
I
want to?
wanted to wait. I wanted to add a person here to this equation, Gary Swanson.
Yeah,
You
do you
know,
want Lenore to pick up?
well, I don't know about that. That's too much. One second. What am I doing? Are you there? Are you there? Ron, Steve. Uh,
I am.
hey, Gary.
How are you?
Good, good. I'm actually on the air with another friend of mine, Steve Rom. You met him, no? Do you mind?
Oh,
Hello,
Hello, can you
Hi
hear me?
there.
I can hear you.
Gary, are
Hi,
you there?
Steve. How are you?
Yeah,
I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm here. So anyway, I have.
That makes three of us.
Yeah, I know,
Where's
and
the drink?
the thing is that between the three of us, there's so much substance. It's almost it's intolerable. But same level of sensitivity in the face of being extremely intelligent, talented, and uh, Stephen was my mentor for many years. A great painter and thinker and a businessman, and you, Gary, showed the world the wrath of your ability to perform.
The wrath of my ability.
Haim picks very interesting words.
Yeah, I mean, I just all of a sudden I've got like a Batman outfit on and in a
What
cape
what
and
do
I'm
you,
flying
Billy?
through the air.
What do you do?
Me?
Yes.
I work for sanitation and no, I'm only kidding.
Good, responsible job.
I've wasted my life enjoying it, doing. I never wanted to work, so I became an actor,
Oh,
and that kept me away from 9 to 5. And I didn't
well,
want to
that's the
shave.
same.
So
That's the same thing with being a painter. You know,
yeah,
if you're in the art field, you really don't live a normal life under any circumstances.
no, and we don't choose the normal life either.
And to think of going to an office someplace from 9 to 5 with a bunch of other people sitting at a desk and actually doing something, that's when you reach out for the gun and put it to your head.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Don't exaggerate
it
I
now.
hurts
can't
to
do this.
even think about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I think Stephen, you got carried away there. The
Well,
energy is one and the same.
it's
People.
By the way, let me just say this, Haim. There's all my people I've ever known have done it right, and there's something great about working, and that's not to denigrate it, but there are a few of us who are not really capable of going through that exercise,
right.
and if we do, we die.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but
It's a life
people
or death.
but people bring a lot of a variety of qualities with them at any and every scenario, and life is consisted of these factors that are materializing every day when people leave their home, go to work, and go and leave their work, go home or socialize or whatever it is. The qualities are there, and I think the sooner we identify them, the more will prevent from potential individuals to lose it and start thinking that hurting people is a good idea. So there's a lot to be said about us noticing those qualities within the other, you know, and make it somewhat equal to what you are all about. I know it's difficult, and I
Yeah.
know it's almost like imaginary, but it's doable.
And let me just clarify something. I did not mean in any way whatsoever to put down or denigrate anybody that works in an
I
office
didn't think you were.
situation
I
or a
didn't think.
corporate
You know,
situation.
I know you well enough not to think that. Yeah, no, I'm
I
just
just
saying.
think that there's certain of us that don't fit that mold under any circumstances and have found an alternate way of living. And I think that's the only way we survive. I mean, I can't imagine, um, the kind of job that would require me to go to a place, work a certain amount of hours, and do something, and your creative process is totally cut off. I can't imagine that. For
Well,
other people, it's fine.
I don't know about you, but I just couldn't. I was not. I used to get fired off of things. I mean, because I would, I can't do this anymore. And I for a while, my family and everybody was deeply concerned because they thought I was just going to head down this road of misery and become a complete outlander and but then I got into acting and it took off for me right away, so I got very lucky quickly.
But the main thing is that we fail to realize that there's an end to everything. So when we get carried away, we carried away with all the pleasures that we're experiencing, and that makes us feel like it's going to be there forever, and many other things are going to be there forever. And then when we didn't plan to the day of sobriety, where we find out that we need to go see a doctor every other day, and whatnot, things that are just preventing us from resuming normalcy. So nobody ever leaves enough room when we are educated, whatever field we take, is that one day, and it's not going to be that far away, things are going to change, and it will be pretty bad if you weren't to be somewhat ready for it. So I think we as a society lack this ability to present and to put forward a level of strength and resilience, because for the most part, we always have to struggle because we never think that it's a good idea to prepare ourselves, And,
by the way, in your life, but it doesn't stop it.
But you were saying, no, well, I know I felt it. I felt Gary there. What you were saying?
Well, no, what I was going to say to kind of give a broader picture of what we're all talking about in terms of our stumbling and being lucky in life by getting to where we want to go. That does not mean to say that, I am right now, when you called, I'm working on my script. I've been working all morning and I work all day, and I work at something all day. And that's the difference. As opposed to working, where at something that I would abhor and be miserable at. I don't think I'd be alive today. But working all day, yes. Toiling at something, that's the only real reward in life.
And the only thing that I can say, being in a different situation health-wise, is that health issues begin to interfere with the process of wanting to go into the studio, wanting to paint, and suddenly you look at the calendar and you go, I can't paint at 2 o'clock because I've got a doctor's appointment. Well, I'll do it tomorrow. No, I got another doctor's appointment. That starts to interfere when you reach certain ages, and it turns out that I'm hardly isolated in that position. I have so many friends around me going through all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
And most, I would say the vast majority of my friends are in an art field of one kind or another and are as frustrated as I am.
Yeah, but you forgot to say
do certain things and they can't.
You forgot to say that you actually moved your easel to your doctor's office.
Well, you would need a portable easel to go from doctor's office.
Come clean.
Doctor's offices.
Yes, Steve, you have.
But I'm willing. I'd be willing to bet that no matter what happens in terms of how we're encumbered or the logs that are thrown in the path of what we want to do, that doesn't in any way take away from the desire and the drive to be doing it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm speaking of performance, per se. Like I tell my friend Stephen, yeah, for reasons that are completely acceptable, but maybe not acceptable at all. In the same token, he's not a hands-on individual, for example. But it doesn't say that his head stopped working. He thinks all the time. He reads all the time. His curiosity is there, but it's a shame that we should kind of abandon certain aspects of it, like the actual paintings in a studio, the canvas, producing slowly or quickly, but something producing. Some people cannot continue that anymore at some point. But that's because early on we were not conditioned to understand that this day can come and most probably will come, and it's a good idea to be ready for it because you just don't want that to stop, and there's a way to do it, by the way.
I don't know if anybody is really prepared for what happens suddenly, and it is rather sudden that things happen where your life changes. And I know too many other people that have gone through the same thing where all of our thoughts were, I'm going into the studio tomorrow, I'm going to go do this, whatever, uh, acting, painting, singing, whatever it is. And suddenly something comes into your life that prevents that. It's frustrating at the very least,
Yeah,
a gross
yeah,
understatement. But the creative process in your mind is still going on.
It doesn't. It is. It's fervent.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's
and
alive, and the as we experience what you're describing, um, to some greater or lesser degree, the pain of not being able to act upon that drive, that inner thing we wake up with that we want to do. And well, we can't do it because, as you said, I've got a doctor's appointment, or I'm just too tired today, or my arthritis is killing me, or or on and on. Life interrupts, but the drive is childish. The drive is dreamlike, and that doesn't go away.
it
yeah.
never
But
goes away.
but then again, all of these kind of morbid scenarios, and I say morbid is because it doesn't take much for us as artists to find ourselves in the depths of melancholia because of things that maybe will look trivial to other people, but for us as artists, it's just a whole different, settings of numbers and letters and whatnot. But when I think, I think that this society cannot appreciate the beauty of humming when it's trying to pursue, singing at its best. It won't be. It would be fighting this element of it. Instead of having the humming be the leader of the conquest, if you know what I mean. So now if you,
Yeah.
because I went like I went to a voice teacher in Hampton Bays. It was many years ago. I don't know, I was fascinated. I just wanted to understand, and of course she heard me and she said you're better off humming. But anyway, but not because she told me, even if your voice is wonderful, I will try to establish something humming together with you, because I know you're capable, because everyone
By the
is
way,
capable.
humming is, I met this gangster, literally, who was very ensconced in the mob, and he told me the person to train him to sing first was Frank Sinatra.
Hmm.
And he said, Sinatra, he said, okay, come to my house tomorrow, bring a bathing suit. And he said, a bathing suit? He's, what's this about? So he goes there, and Sinatra got him in the pool, and he said, okay, now hold your breath. And when you come up, I want you to exhale. And that was the beginning of him explaining how important breath was
Yeah.
Hmm,
for for singing. Um,
right.
but he also said that humming is one of the most important things that a singer can do, and uh, and it even has now proven out to be a way of calming a human being by
Yes.
just simply humming.
Yes, yes, definitely. I know it firsthand with babies, but then again, so the thing is that if we were to be told that we're changing the equilibrium of what has been taken as a given so far, meaning when you go to acquire knowledge and experience and maybe a future in music, in poetry, in painting, in acting, in dancing, in all of this, there's there's a thread of seriousness there that is very, very unnecessary, that claims a lot of victims, that
That
just
is unnecessary.
unnecessary. That means seriousness is already embedded within the prerequisites of it all to begin with. You would never get to a point where you start asking a questioning without knowing that you already passed the most important test, that you're allowed to stand there and contemplate and ask and doubt and this and that, because
Yeah, but Chaim, isn't that a function of the desire of when you're young and you want to be good and you'll be willing, you'll go through, jump through fire hoops and damn near kill yourself, and then when you get older you begin to realize you don't have to really work that hard anymore to do
Yeah,
what you want to do artistically.
I think that
but one thing
as
had
as
nothing
an
to do with the
actor,
other.
yeah, well, I think that as an actor for Gary, when he thinks about it, it's just part of his life. It's not something that's a separate part that he's got to build up energy for. When I go to paint, it's no different than if I was sitting down and eating dinner. It's just
Yeah, yeah.
part of my life. It's always been a part of my life. It's not anything that to me is exceptional or different or anything else. I can walk from one room into another room, and when I walk into that other room, I'm doing something that's just as easy for me as if I were
Yeah, but
cooking a steak.
but to
It's
create
it's just part of my
suspense,
life.
but to create suspense before you enter the realm of your passion and that medium, that particular medium, for that reason you're there. You are entering with suspense long before the act itself is starting. By the time you get there, you forget about suspense because you're so exhausted to get there, and you used so much with that whatever it is that was, it was there. You couldn't get rid of it. It was just like music that you hear and it doesn't go away, kind of thing. But that suspense is because the teachers are conditioned to believe that they need to be the last word, kind of thing. They're they're leaders, and nothing, they should let nothing question that or second guess it, kind of thing. And when it comes to second guessing, it comes later on in the early stages, where second guessing should take the most place and time, is being postponed and pushed towards. Why? Because the teachers need to establish their dominance, and it takes a little while. But that comes
Well,
on the
But
expense of us just adamantly being brushed through the process. And yeah, when even if you're lucky enough to be talented enough to withstand all this, then you're not going to end up there way in the crucial times with your 100% of your wit together.
two quick things about the teachers, because I've spent many years teaching, and they always have that terrible meme about those who do, those who don't teach. Well, I
right,
was always doing while I was teaching, and I think that's a very unfair. I like to think of I heard a great line where teachers are the candles that light other candles. I think that's a great image. But Steve, back to it's Steve, right? Am I?
yeah.
Yeah.
We're just yeah. You said something before that I'd like to go back to. That how painting for you is like going to having dinner and doing whatever you do. George Bernard Shaw, the great writer who is also a great critic, was being interviewed about his writing and how he wrote every day, and the interviewer said, "Well, isn't it just a thrill for you to be writing and to be? Isn't it what you love to do more than everything in the world?" And Shaw said, "No, it's more like the taste of water in my mouth."
Right. It's just part of your life. It's just that we're lucky enough to be able to have a part of our life that's different because we have a creative, our inner core is probably the best way I can describe it. Our inner core has a creative um, sense to it that is with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all your life.
Yeah.
We think differently.
Yes.
And even if you're not acting or you're not writing a script or you're not doing that, somewhere, somehow, you're thinking about something in a creative way.
Yeah,
There
but you
isn't
should
a
be
time where I'm
allowed.
not thinking about,
the-
you
You
know,
should be allowed to have your voice heard early on in the process, where the academia will say, "Yeah, you're rushing it," And this is like, first of all, it annoys me so much when I hear you're rushing it, or you're doing too much, or you're too loud, you're too everything.
you know
You
what?
need
I
to
think
be
high
allowed
criticism,
to shine, even from the nothingness that you have achieved.
that's
And
something you
then
make
what
for
happens,
yourself.
just to finish my thought, then what happens is that you realize that first and foremost, you're not going to end up being exhausted every time you need to get from one point to another. That there are some kind of elements that as time goes by and experience increases, that are helpful in making you feel like that the whole process is lighter. And these are the moments that you're going to shine. These are the moments that your talent or your passion and desire and all this will bloom. You know what I mean? You need to think about all. If you have 3,000 students in front of you, yes, but you also need to think about one of them that through which you can
In
really
all the
feel.
years that I taught, in all the years that I taught art, it was a separate part of my life, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I liked it in the beginning, but I kept working. I'd go home and I'd paint.
Yeah.
It was just, it was interrupting what I wanted to do, and eventually I got to the point where I said, "Screw this! I can't do this anymore. I want to paint." And I made that my career. I went into the art business. My entire life since I was 6 years old or even earlier has been involved in art. Somebody else may be involved in developing nuclear inventions, whatever.
Yeah.
And for them, that may be just as creative for them as it is for us. If you're in acting, you're an actor. You're born an actor.
Yeah,
It's in
but
your
the thing
blood.
is,
It's in your brain.
for example, when I first arrived to the boarding school where I graduated high school, I was supposedly interviewed. It wasn't an interview. It was just the head guy, that was like smoking, like a chain smoker. It was in 1973, and he greets me, and I came with a story, whatever it is. The system was compatible with my needs, and I find myself there, and he's talking to me, very very casual conversation, and then after not more than 3 minutes, he communicated with me that it stayed with me how many years? About 45 years later, 50 years later. He just said, "I feel about you like I feel about my heart." That's what he told me.
Wow.
3 minutes. Go, join the class, and you'll do just fine. You know? And it's interesting
Right.
because the day he died, we were like, I was chosen to be one that's holding his body and kind of walking to the grave and all this. And so I felt, the weight of the moment. And then we arrived there and we lowered him to the hall. I realized, because people pointed out, that my necklace fell to the grave. And it was a Star of David that my mom gave me. And I looked at it and I said, "What am I doing now?" And I was so
What did
scared.
you do about that one?
I went down and took it.
You went down into the grave.
I
and
jumped
the
inside
Star
and I
David?
took it and I jumped out in 1 second. Why? Because I couldn't tolerate the moment that I would have to come to my mom and say, "I lost the necklace." No way. I just couldn't take that.
That I hate to say it, but it's a little bit of a Vincent Price horror movie image.
No, but that's because you choose. That's because you choose not to exercise the opposite of that, where there is Um, First of all, it didn't take me 5 minutes. It took me exactly 1 1/4 of a second. People realized that my necklace is there.
See,
So
I would
anyway,
have thought the opposite. I would have thought it was intentional that it fell into the grave, and that was something on your part, unknowingly, knowingly, whatever. It was something that happened that was meant to happen. I would have left it there.
yeah.
You know, I
Well,
mean,
then you have to deal with my mom.
Well, you
Hey,
have a
listen,
very
guys,
similar
guys, guys. This
explanation
is
for your
not.
mother.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not asking for help to understand what happened there. I'm just telling you as a regular story. Now, what I take from
Right.
it is that I got a second chance to be 100% sure of how he felt about me, and that it was really genuine. The fact that I allowed myself, that I thought it's actually okay at the end of the day. If I'm going to think about it in 10 years from now, I would believe that it was okay to do it. And because I felt it when I went in and out, it took me only a while later to understand that I actually did it. It was so fast. But also, this Star of David was given to me out of my own deep level of conviction of my mother that it will protect me and it will benefit me, and it's something that will be good and stabilizing factor in my life. Period. That's how she felt. So I felt like then what? I need it. And he allowed me to do it. My
wow.
dead friend allowed me to do it. Otherwise, he wouldn't allow me. I wouldn't be doing it. Just as much as I wasn't sure that am able to do it, even when it happened, ever. I would be
You know,
exactly.
I had
Anyway,
my teacher for 7 years was Lee Strasberg, who was very famous acting teacher, and also he was in The Godfather. He played Haim Mizrahi.
Certainly know the name. Yes.
Yeah, and he taught all the great people in the world. Well,
Very famous.
I was on after he died. I was invited in a small group to go up to his grave. It was a very freezing cold day in February, and his two sons. Lee was 81, and he had two sons that were very young. One was 11 and one was 13, and we were up there and at the when they were interring him, and they put it down, and in the Hebrew religion, apparently you everybody throws dirt on the coffin,
Right.
and I remember the sound of Lee's two children throwing the dirt and the rocks landing on the wooden coffin in the dead of winter. They were the first ones to begin that process. So, you just got me thinking back to that, Haim. That's a pretty powerful image.
yeah, it is. But one thing I want to tell you. So that sentence that he shared with me when I first arrived, and then every day that I had to walk my literature and poetry teacher from the classroom at the end of the day to the main gate of the boarding school was consisting of a person that I admired and adored and admired to no end, telling me how important it is to always consider yourself as a poet. And she taught me how to do it while we were like having a 10-minute walk. And she told me mostly about the awkwardness of it that deters people at the end of the day from actually pursuing. And she kept on repeating herself how important it is. And she explained how and why it's important. And it just stuck in my head. So when I did start with the direct influence of my sister, that was a poet all along, I found it easy. That's why when my sister challenged me and I went to the room and I said, I'm going to write a poem, I came up with 3 poems. 3 poems that actually impressed my sister. So right there, it was, that's it. She said, we were like together. We were embarking together. And she was an established poet by then. I was 18, she's 19. She was writing since 14. And we were equals. We were even. We were like, it was unbelievable. So this eh, what she taught me in those 10 minutes walking to the gate is what people usually need to go, years to college and professors and this and that and taking it seriously to get to a point where I got just by feeling that intimate connection and this incredible person next to me we're walking is just so natural, and you learn and you experience all these secrets in a natural way, and you really believe in it. Listen, I always believed in it. I had another friend that was like a very serious individual, a family friend that read two of my poems. But they were like very early poems, and he came to me and he said, this is good stuff. This is yeah, So I'm looking at this person and I said, what a shortcut. So these sporadic encounters with people served as if I went to college for that many years. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
they won't allow you to understand that there is room to consider the alternative, and maybe in more ways than one, it's a little bit encouraged too. Anyway, I'm just but listen to both of you. First of all, let me say Gary Swanson and then Steve Ram is here with us, March 29th, year 2024, here with the Hello Hello Show on a Friday afternoon, Easter Sunday. This is Good Friday today. Easter Sunday is right around the corner, and but let me tell you, both of you, you're such good friends, really. You, Stephen, are so you're too much. You're too good. You're too loving, too caring, and I love it. But I hate it that I love it. But I love it. And then and then you, Gary.
Well, what about me? I have feelings too.
Yeah,
What am
no,
I,
wait,
chopped
I'm doing
liver?
it, Stephen. And then Gary,
I'm only
you,
kidding. I'm kidding.
you're the epitome of giving people the feeling that they can count on you and trust you, and every encounter that this was needed to face the test of reality, you were 100 out of 100. Really, a wonderful friend. No topic that we cannot handle and take it to distances that if with other people takes years. So thank you for that, and thank you for allowing me to,
That
you
works
know,
both ways, Haim.
exercise my alternative thinking, like Steven says. We really tried hard last night when we were watching you on the show to understand you and all this, and we couldn't understand a word you were saying. And then the same
Who?
token, Steven, I know that you understand every word. You know that, yeah? So thank you.
Who are you? I misunderstood. What are you talking about?
That Steven watches the show, the Hello Hello Show at night. So so he
Okay.
tells,
Yeah, yeah.
he's very explicit in how he explained it to me that I'm too far out there. Steven.
Oh no! Why would he say something like that?
Wait, are you there, Steven?
Yeah.
No, he's not there.
Did we lost Stephen?
Steven, are you there? Okay, let me just add Steven, and so I can conclude the show. That would be, I think.
Did you insult him?
Okay, so yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, we lost you, I guess.
Yep, I'm now outside fishing.
Yeah, that and probably we lost you when I was saying how I rave about you, the fact that you there as a mentor, and and that I can count on you in many ways, and
You
you
can always do that, Haim.
yeah,
That's never
yeah,
going to
yeah,
change.
yeah. And the early days, we're talking about the early days when I couldn't separate a color from a color, and
Right.
and with Gary Swanson instantly. Listen, our friendship was instant, Gary, and that's the way it's supposed to be. I think it's because we think alike and we're
Right.
capable of going deep enough in order to be able to present something meaningful at the end of the conversation.
Look,
So,
I've said to you, and I've been saying it to you
are
now
we
for
are we
months.
losing Gary now?
I think so.
Gary?
I think we lost Gary.
Oh, you're
I'm
there?
here.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I
good.
was
You're
just
there.
raving about you. So I said that our connection was instant. We met and we already knew that we can go and venture in our conversations deep into the subject matter, the issue, and come come out on the other end with much more kind of revelation and acknowledgement of
Right.
friendship. So besides that, I wanted. Are you there, Gary?
I'm here.
Yeah, good. So I wanted to thank you both, and I want to give you the last word. But let me just say we're going to be here tomorrow, as much as we were here yesterday, and as much as we're here this afternoon, Friday, March 29th, year 2024, here with the Hello Show. And my name is Haim Mizrahi. Gary Swanson, Steve Rom, thank you very much. Gary, I'll give you the last word, and then I'll give the last word to Stephen.
Stephen and all of us, I don't think we can thank our teachers enough for what they've given us.
I agree.
That's pure self-sacrifice to teach.
The people that I learned from were wonderful and gave me the ability to go on my own, not dependent upon anybody. And they just encourage that sense of creativity to keep going. And that's all you can ask for.
And that's new to me, and I can appreciate what you both said. And this show, with the concept of public access, couldn't be a better stage for people like us and for all people. But we're the kind of people who really take advantage of it and communicate with people apropos that. So thank you again, both mentors, friends, and may we live forever. And we love you out there, and we know you're participating and you're doing your best. And
Looking forward to meeting you, Stephen.
You got it.
Looking forward to meeting you.
Yep.
We'll get Haim to get us together.
You got it.
See you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.